Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Women Thrive podcast episode. I am so excited to have you all here for another inspirational conversation with one of our Women Thrive Summit speakers. Today, we have Deepika Sandhu with us today. Hi, Deepika. How are you?
Hello. I'm wonderful. So happy to be here.
I'm so excited, and I am so honored to have you part of the summit and for our listeners to hear a little bit more about your story, because you really have an interesting and impactful story. The first time we have had the chance to connect and conversate, I felt really touched by your story, and I know our listeners will be truly inspired by what you have to share. There are also some surprises in store and perhaps wow moments. So do make sure you listen to the end of this podcast. And also, what you will be covering in the upcoming summit is talking about how you went from breakdown to breakthrough. So for those of you who don't know Deepika Sandhu yet, Deepika is Silicon Valley businesswoman, inspirational speaker, author of Hello Universe, It's Me, and mom to a sassy year-old girl. Deepika has advised fast-moving, high-growth companies as they inspire the world with innovation. Now, through her book, courses, speaking events, she teaches overworked, exhausted, and overwhelmed professionals how to turn their burnout into a breakthrough. Deepika, such an honor to have you on this podcast today.
I'm so happy to be here.
So tell me a little bit more about your journey and how did you came up with this book title of Hello Universe, It's Me?
You know, like so many women out there, I was just exhausted by the life I was living, yet I kept living it. I kept going, right? I was a working mom, a business professional with huge responsibilities, but I also had everything that we have to do all day long, be a wife, be a mom, care for people in my life, be a daughter, a sister, a kind of all of it. And like so many people, I just found myself so tired and so exhausted by all that we're doing and all that, I was expected to maintain. I couldn't do it anymore. So I started journaling. I'd always been a journaler from very early on in my life, but I kind of picked back up into journaling. And as I was writing my journal, I would write, "Hello, universe." I wanted to talk to whoever was out there orchestrating this life to ask a really simple question, which was, did it really have to be this way? Is this the way that it was all meant to go? And that's how my conversations with the universe started. And that's how I got underneath whether this very busy, very hectic, and honestly unfulfilling life was what I was meant to be doing with all of my time.
Wow. And I know you had a very successful job and, home and everything. And it was quite interesting that you were asking the universe of what are the next steps. A lot of the times we get so caught up on this wheel of, being successful or creating this on what on the outside looks a successful life, but perhaps we don't feel so fulfilled.
Yeah.
So what happened after you have asked the universe to guide you into a happier life?
Yeah, look, I was winning at the game of life, right? I was that woman rushing through it all, doing everything, rushing through every step of the day, rushing to drop off my daughter, rushing to go to work, rushing through meetings, rushing to get back on time, rushing through dinner, rushing to put her to bed. All this rushing just so I could work some more at night and wake up early and do it all again the next day. I was literally on that hamster wheel. If I were in, a big giant football stadium, those jumbotrons would be flashing. You are killing it. But it was killing me. It looked really good on the outside, like on social media, all smiles, everything looks fantastic. I had all the stuff, all the things everybody tells you need and you want to live a successful life, but it wasn't filling me up. So I realized that in those rare, tiny moments in my day, right? That rare walk alone, that moment outside with my cup of coffee, the moment I suddenly wasn't rushing and I wasn't hustling from thing to thing. I got the little whisper in the ear that, hey, maybe there's something more to all of this. Maybe something else is meant to happen here for you. And connecting with myself via the universe, but connecting with myself through journaling and finding more conscientious ways to be quiet and to slow things down. One was super hard, right? Because we're not conditioned to do that ever, right? Especially when you're in the hamster wheel, you just keep going. There's no off ramp for that. Mm-hmm. But when I did orchestrate that into my life, I heard that there really was so much more for me, and that I was allowed to leave, to walk away from, to separate myself from, to untangle from the things that were not serving me anymore, right? And that's what I started to do. Slowly. I had to schedule a breakdown to do it though, right? It's not like it just all popped in and happened. I had to use all my consulting skills, my professional business skills to go, you know what, something seems wrong here. I need to assess the situation. I need to get underneath it. And the only way I can do that is if I schedule a breakdown, find that dedicated time to focus on me, which so many of us just don't do, right?
Yeah, we as women play so many roles. Yeah. As you say, mother, carer, wife, breadwinner, or different roles in our jobs and in our careers. A lot of the times we just leave ourselves to the last. It's like we're so giving and nurturing that we forget that is us. There is us, and if we don't start to take care of us, we can't take care of anybody else.
Yeah.
So when you had to schedule this breakdown, that sounds quite interesting as a concept. Scheduling your own breakdown. That I have never heard. Tell me a little bit more about how did that go, and how did you come out on the other side?
I had this moment where that little voice was getting a little louder within, that something wasn't feeling right. And I found myself in my closet, after my family had slept in the dark, crying and wondering why I was feeling this way. Like I had everything. I had the nice house, the nice clothes, the nice purses, the nice family. I had the great vacations. I had a great job. I had it all, but none of that was doing anything for me. And lying in that closet or sitting in that closet crying, I realized I needed to change something, but I didn't know what and I didn't know how. So again, consultant type A personality, looking on my iPhone, when is the time I can schedule this breakdown? Where can I do this? And it wasn't going to be right then and there, right? When you're scheduled to the nines and you're in the heat of it, you can't just run off from all of it and leave it all behind, right? I wasn't going to be like Julia Roberts in the movie Eat, Pray, Love and fly off to Italy and Bali and India and go find myself. I had a daughter at home and I wanted to find myself with her right there by my side. So I looked on my calendar. When could I fit this in? When could I make it happen? And it wasn't for many months later, but I did it because I wanted to give myself the opportunity to look at my life from a different angle. So I scheduled my breakdown on my 40th birthday, and my commitment to myself was I did not want to wake up at 50 feeling the way I did at 40. I didn't want to be in my closet crying. I didn't want to be complaining about the same things. I didn't want to be upset about the same things. And I sure as heck didn't want to feel unfulfilled about life, right? I wanted it to be different. And to be different requires some introspection. And for me, it was doing it right there in my own home at a time that would work for me. So I literally scheduled several weeks off of work to have this scheduled breakdown. And it was really not a breakdown. It was a breakthrough, right? It allowed me to slow down, not to work, not to be engaged in all the hustle of day-to-day life, not to do all the socializing and all the commitments and all the priorities other people had for me. It let me make myself a priority by sitting at the coffee shop and just reading or writing in my journal or learning to paint because I don't know. I thought there was a little artist in me. I had no idea. I'd never nurtured that part of myself before. Or being able to go to yoga in the middle of the day. Like that was an absolute luxury. So finding these ways to connect with myself again was a breakthrough. It was a breakthrough to finding out what I liked, what I wanted again, and to just get out of that hamster wheel that I was living in.
Wow. I love that. I love those, as you say, that finding those moments. And as you couldn't actually run off to Bali or find a retreat, to have this reflection time, you built it in within the current life that you had. And that has helped you change things around. I have been in a similar situation where I felt unfulfilled and unhappy. And like my real life was running in the parallel lane. And I was there, similar to you, crying and wondering when things are going to change. Things don't usually change. And I think maybe some of our listeners and a lot of women around the world accept their reality as this is it.
Yeah.
Why do you think we accept the reality? And why do we think that we can't change something?
Yeah. It's fascinating, right? We accept the lot we're given, and we're conditioned from an early age, I think, in so many cultures around the world, and certainly in my own, that this is what you have and this is enough. Be grateful for what you have. This is enough. And other people don't have what you have. This is enough. Be grateful for it. And I understand that way of thinking, right? I understand that. But you can be grateful for what you have today and still desire so much more in your life. You can have what you have today and be happy about today, but still know that there's so much more to unlock in your life, and that there's so much more you can move towards, and that all those dreams, all those visions, all those little, I like to call them soul sparks, the little moments that suddenly light you up from the inside, you can move towards all of that in your life. All of that can be a reality for you. But for so many of us, our conditioning is play small. You have enough. You're doing good things. This is good enough. You're supposed to do all these things and check all the boxes to be some person. And once you're that person, you're good. You get married, you have the kid, you have the house. What else is there? Now the rest is just on autopilot. We really are conditioned to think that way. But there really is so much more for you in this life if you're willing to unlock it, if you're willing to move towards it. And I think so many of us as women, we forget to even think about it. We're in that hamster wheel. We're just doing the things. We're maintaining the life. And we don't really stop to think, can I have more? Can I be more? Can I do more? And the answer is yes, you can. You just have to let yourself move in that direction.
Yeah. And sometimes we just have to dream bigger and allow ourselves to accept that what we have today doesn't have to be our reality.
Yeah.
Doesn't even if it looks good on the outside. And as you say, society just says, hey, you're doing great. Are you crazy to jump ship and do something else? But I know that a lot of people deep down inside know that this isn't it. Maybe they're not fulfilling their purpose. Maybe they are sitting on the sidelines of what their life should really look like and could look like, but we're too afraid to take that leap. Did you feel that fear by taking that leap into your new life?
So much fear. Of course, if anybody tells you, oh, it's so easy to move in that new direction, it's so easy to follow your dreams, it's so easy to move forward, their nose is growing as long as Pinocchio. It's not reality, right? It is so scary to dismantle what what you have been conditioned to accept, and move to something else. It is scary. And it takes you having a lot of unwavering faith in yourself, right? And in what you want. But there's a step even before that fear can kick in, right? And that step before is really believing in whatever it is you see for yourself, and giving yourself that time and space to think about what it is you want. So many women don't know anymore what they want. They haven't considered it. They don't have time for their own dreams or wishes, and they get buried so deep under the busyness of life. So step one, before you can even be afraid that what you want can be the reality in your life, which it can be, but before that is even just allowing yourself to think about what you want again, giving yourself that permission. It's so big. It's so huge, right? How did you give yourself permission to dream big again?
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I love that what you said, sitting there with your cup of coffee in the morning where you should be looking at your life and feeling happy, you weren't. And, that was the moment, that was the indication. Where do you catch yourself that's giving you a clue that life could look so much different?
Yeah.
And, like I said, I was experiencing the very same thing, living in London for many years, and what everybody considered London as a dream destination. For me, it wasn't living hell, but it was not enough. And I knew that I haven't dedicated my life to entrepreneurship and running my own business to be stuck in a place where I no longer wanted to be. So, like yourself. And what I feel like, you talking about Hello Universe is me, sometimes we just really have to have that faith that universe will catch us, because there is a higher plan for us. There is more to our life than just accepting the reality as is, when you know you're meant for more. And I feel like during this pandemic, a lot of people have had that realization and courage to go for it.
Yes. I mean, in the United States, and I think around the world, you've had what they're calling the Great Resignation, people leaving their jobs in droves. And why is this happening? It's happening because people are realizing these jobs, the way I was working, the way I was living, this isn't working for me anymore. This isn't fulfilling me anymore. This isn't lighting me up. I can find a different way to do this. So at a collective level, the pandemic, for its good and its bad and for whatever, has given people this giant reset button. And you really got to rethink, who am I with? What am I doing? Who do I want with me in my bubble when my days get tough? And how do I want to live this life that I'm living? So I did it before the pandemic, right? So I had the scheduled breakdown 4 years ago, but the pandemic was the world's scheduled breakdown. It was the reset. And all these trends that you're seeing now reported in the news are the way people around the world are resetting for themselves and giving themselves space and time to rethink what it is they want to be doing and how they want to live it.
Beautiful. So, Deepika, tell me, how do you support your clients? I know, you support various clients around the world. How do you support others in finding themselves?
My goal is to help people, just like all of your listeners today, courageously move in the direction of their dreams. I want everyone to manifest themselves, the best version of themselves. And I want you to live from that place each and every day. One of the ways I do that is through my signature course, Manifest You: From Breakdown to Breakthrough in 45 Days, helping people unlock all these different spiritual concepts that can seem really woo-woo and out there, bringing it back to the tangible, everyday, actionable steps you can take in your life, the practical ways that you can move from where you are today to where you want to be in the future, to get all those amazing breakthroughs and actually allow them to be part of your life day in and day out. So that course is out there and available for people right now. The other thing that I do is I have a masterclass called Accessing Riches: How to Unlock Abundance in All Aspects of Your Life. We think of being rich as just all those material things you want to rack up. And I had all the material things, all of them, and they weren't fulfilling me in any way. But only once I unlocked for myself this idea of abundance, this idea of having more than enough all of the time in all aspects of your life, did my life actually become rich. So I teach people how to access their riches in that masterclass. And then I love coaching people one-on-one, being their spiritual advisor, their transformation guide, their person that helps them get to who they are meant to be. Because what I have learned is that everybody's story matters. Everybody has a story to live, and they are meant to live it to their truest, fullest potential. And helping people get there, that's the joy. That's what I do.
Wow, I love it. I love it. If people wanted to get in touch with you, how could they do that?
You can find me on Instagram. You can also check out my website, deepikasandhu.co, and my book, Hello Universe, It's Me. You can catch that on the website at hellouniverseitsme.com, also available on Amazon. You can email me, akatid@gmail.com. We'll have it in the links to the podcast too. But yeah, reach out, come chat. I love it. Love hearing from all of you.
Well, you can certainly connect with Deepika. You will find show notes below. Do make sure you follow her. Give her a tag on social media if you feel really inspired by this. And I know sometimes we release this podcast and we wonder, has it reached someone? Has it changed somebody's lives or perspectives? So if this podcast has inspired you to maybe take a leap yourself, or you're thinking, maybe you're in that position where you aren't sure which direction to go, maybe you're feeling unfulfilled, go ahead and reach out to Deepika and make sure that you let her know that you have heard this podcast and how you felt listening to this. I'm inspired by your story, and the reason I felt like you were such a fantastic addition to the 2022 Women Thrive Summit. I find your story very inspiring and empowering for women, talking about our own transformation, the inner healing, the choices that we can make. And like I said, there's so many people feeling stuck in where they feel unfulfilled. And we as women tend to just accept the reality as is, when actually on the other side, we know life can be much better. And I have experienced the very same thing. So I feel very inspired by your story, and I'm actually very excited about hearing your talk. How much more can they learn during your talk at the Women Thrive Summit coming up in March?
I am so excited to connect with everyone there as well, and such an honor to be a part of it. I am going to walk you guys through my signature methodology of how to move from your breakdown to your breakthrough, how to go through those steps. And like I said, it's practical, it's actionable, it's stuff you can walk away from and do today. I want you to get away from the checklists and the things you're just checking off on your day. And I want you to ask yourself, what am I putting my hearts next to? What are the things that are giving me joy? What are the things that are lighting me up? And I'm going to walk you through my exact process that got me to the best breakthroughs of my life and living this life that I have now, so that you can do it too.
Beautiful. So inspiring. So if you feel inspired and you want to hear more from Deepika on our upcoming at our upcoming Women Thrive Summit coming up this March, go over to womenthrivesummit.com and reserve your spot. We have more than 30 amazing international speakers from all walks of life, ages, and experiences. They all have some inspiring stories to share with you. And I know that by attending this summit, your life will be transformed. So go over to womenthrivesummit.com, reserve your seat, and make sure you share with somebody else, because I know there are thousands of women all around the world that need to hear the stories that we have to share. I'm super grateful for you today, Deepika, and for all of our listeners being here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you on another episode. Take care for now.